Hey, so the new review is gonna take a while to get out, so in the meantime, here's just a random fluff video. Hey y'all, Scrambled Cristiano here. Every video game made for consumers has always had a box art for them. They've always been special since it's basically the first impression of a game. Since back in the day there wasn't the internet or much reviews to go by, you really only had to go by the box in order to tell if it looks cool or not. And many of the artwork shown is really nice and well drawn, especially in certain regions like Japan. However, when companies want to market their games to a completely different region, most of the time, at least back in the 90s, they usually tweak a lot of things up to be marketable to a certain region, like in America or even Japan sometimes. Which leads into the topic of today's video. I want to look into the world of localized box art. The good, the many bad, and the infamous. Let's go. The Legend of the Mystical Ninja is not exactly a game I haven't really heard about nor have played, so I gave it a quick playthrough to get a general consensus on it, and it's pretty mediocre. You're not missing out on much. The combat in the game is alright, but to be fair, the perspective in the beat-em-up levels are pretty wonky, and it was really hard to tell when I was able to process a hit or not. The platforming segments felt kinda janky at times, and the jumping could be better, but it's not an awful game. Just something I wouldn't really play again. But I will say this, the sprite work and character designs look great, and the original Japanese box art was able to emulate it perfectly. Kid Ying looks great here. However, I do think it isn't perfect. Like, I think the colors are a little too warm compared to the sprites, but that's just minor nitpicking. What about the American box art? Ew, what the fuck is that? Okay, so I don't know why, but the people at Konami thought it'd be a great idea to have this hyper-realistic art style for the box art, and boy, it just does not clash. I get it, it's trying to look all badass and stuff, but instead it just looks wrong. Like, can't even tell who half these characters are. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Is that supposed to be Dr. Yang? If so, they really missed the mark here. Kid Ying, too. I just don't really like his eyeballs, dude. They're bulging out like crazy, and they just look... Like I said, they just look wrong on so many levels. I don't think I need to go into more detail why I think this box art looks like absolute dog shit, so let's just move on to the next game. Bonk's Adventure is a really fun platformer. It's super easy, but it makes the most out of its gameplay, with its fun mechanics and level design. I think Bonk can be a little bit too slow at times, but overall, it's still a very fun game. Bonk was actually renamed to BC Kid in Japan, and over there in Japan, the box art was kept pretty similar to the art style found inside of the game. It's a nice, cute design that honestly kind of reminds me of Pac-Man in a way. How's the US box art? You know, it's better than the last one. Yeah, the biggest problem I see with this one is that the art style has not carried over from Japan to America, instead having this newer, more edgier looking art style, and it's not bad, it looks like Bonk at least, but it loses so much charm that the original artwork and sprite work had. But compared to the other ones, this one really isn't that bad. It's one of the more tamer ones. Not good, not bad, just somewhere in the middle. Moving on.
Ball Buster.
Puzzle Bobble is a fine game. There's really nothing much to it. The Japanese box art is fine. Everything about this game is just fine. But if that's the case, why am I talking about it? Oh, let's just say the American box art.
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
Holy crap, what is going on here? Alright, so I'm going to give you a visual description of what this box art is. So we're in a purple background and there's a bunch of balls with people's faces. And they're moaning and their eyes are open using sticks. Whose idea was it to greenlight this? It honestly just speaks for itself. This isn't the first time the Puzzle Bobble series has gone through shitty localizations, and it wouldn't be the last either. It definitely deserves a mention in this video just for how bizarre it turned out. Moving on.
Bubsy, 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 Bobcat!
Bubsy, a closet counter of the third kind, is... You know, I feel like everybody kind of over-exaggerates how awful this game is. Yeah, it's not perfect, but one of the worst games in the world? Definitely not. I think this game is alright. Like I said, it isn't perfect. Like, I think the controls can be better, and the boss fights actually do suck. There's almost no pattern to them whatsoever. But it's not that bad of a game. The music's actually the best part. And I like Bubsy's character design. It's very reminiscent of old Rubber Hose cartoons mixed in with the attitude of Sonic the Hedgehog. And the box art does a good job showing off his design. Now, do you want to see a good design get even better? Of course you do. Here's the Japanese box art. Well, I'm not sure if you could tell or not, but I really dig the Japanese box art. Yeah, sure, it has a radically different art style, but it still looks good. This is a rare instance where both regions get the upper hand, and they both have pretty good box arts. So good on Bubsy for having good art. Moving on.
Patrick, that's
Bombs?
Yes.
Okay, so Bomberman as a whole has had localization shenanigans ever since the first game. I'm not kidding. The first game in Japan for the MSX was titled Bakada no Toto, which roughly translates to, well, Bomberman. However, when the game released in Europe, it was renamed to Eric and the Floaters. To top it off, we have this box art, which is... Ugh. Look, I get it, Bomberman wasn't an established character, so I can cut it some slack, especially since it's the first game, but like, come on. Eric's face is just, it's just messy, and none of the enemies shown on the box art really resemble any of the enemies seen inside of the game. But moving on, Bomberman for NES kept the same exact artwork from the Japanese version, but then Bomber Boy heads to the Game Boy. And in Japan, the box art looks cool, I'm not even gonna exaggerate. This new slick looking design looks pretty snazzy if you ask me. But in America, we obviously did not get that. Instead, we got this. Oh my gosh, where do I even start? It's not bad. I'll say this, I actually like the artwork here, but it sure as hell ain't Bomberman. For some reason in America, Hudson Soft had the great idea to localize his name to Atomic Punk. I don't know what screams atomic nor punk about this character design, but you know, whatever flips their flop. Then Bomberman World came out for the arcades, and in America that was also localized to Atomic Punk, and the artwork is Jesus Christ! What is it with mascot platformers having hyper-realism involved into their artwork? It just does not clash, and it just looks more creepy and freaky more than anything. The Japanese box art at least looks nice, but god damn it, can you really blame me for my attention being swung over here? Look at this, dude. Look at this. But it doesn't end here. After this, Bomberman would make his debut to the PC Engine with Bomberman. Again, the Japanese box art is really nothing special. It's just a little doodle of Bomberman, but it's cute and charming. What's the American box art like? Jesus Christ, they gotta stop it with this human shit. It just looks wrong. Just wrong. Just like, nothing about this just feels right. But then Bomberman 93 comes out, and the Japanese box art looks alright, I guess. The art style is cute and all, but honestly, it just sort of feels like more of the same. Oh god, what will the US box art look like? Is it gonna be more realistic shit? Well, no actually. This actually goes for a completely new cartoonish looking style, and I honestly kinda dig it. It's a lot more unique, and you know, it actually looks charming and actually looks like Bomberman. But then Super Bomberman comes out, and the Japanese box art is honestly amazing. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Call me a glazer all you want, but damn it, this box art smacks. The lighting, the colors, the perspective, the characters. Usually I'm not a fan of character posters, but you know, this one actually looks kind of clean, I'm not even gonna lie. How's the American box art? Oh my god. Okay, so where do I even begin with this? So the Bombermen have an all new design, and like, it's not awful, but it kind of gives me curvy vibes than Bomberman vibes, if anything. No. That's not the problem, though. The problem is the enemies, the backgrounds, everything else just feels so out of place. The extra details just do not work when this game has such simple graphics. After this, though, most Bomberman box art would mainly stay the same in all regions. And that's alright, actually. But there is one offender that I forgot to mention. One offender that has always been hit with bad localization changes It's another bomber. He's associated with the color blue. That's right. I'm talking about...
Hey, Zach! Why must I
Mega Man 1 has not aged particularly well, but it's a fine enough platformer. It got the foundations right and everything. It's an okay game. The box art for the Japanese version looks great, I'm not even gonna lie. The cute art style is very charming and pleasing to the eyes, and Mega Man has a really nice design. Now what about the Okay, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I think we all know where this is going. It's pretty infamous by now that the Mega Man 1 box art in America looks like trash. That's because the artwork got rushed and was made at the very last minute before it got published, in under 6 hours. So yeah, that explains why it looks like dog shit, but I feel like the internet has kind of already stated how it looks like trash. I don't really have much to add here. Yes, it's completely inaccurate from the game, and yes, Mega Man does look like dog shit. But yeah, there's nothing else I can really say. Moving on to the next Mega Man game, because oh boy, we still got a lot to cover. Mega Man 2's box art, in Japan at least, is basically more of the same, but I'm not complaining since I like the first box art already. The American box art is a lot more better than the last one, although that is a pretty low bar. It goes for a much more different art style, going for a much more comic booky look. But I'm actually a really big fan of it, and I'm sure it's pretty iconic. Then Mega Man 3 rolls around, and the Japanese box art has been slightly altered. Mega Man is now much more bigger in the center, Rush is there as well. But other than that, it really is more of the same. Enemies on the side, and Mega Man's in the front. In the American box art, however, they finally got its design right. Only problem now is that damn smirk. Ooh, it's kind of freaky, dude. I don't like his face. They reuse it in the 4th game as well. Same thing applies for the Japanese box art for the 4th game. It really is just more of the same. Expect me to stop talking about it until the 7th game. Anyways, moving on to the 5th game, the US box art actually looks pretty nice. It's pretty spot on to the original Japanese art style, just with its own Americanized twist, of course. But Mega Man actually looks like Mega Man. They even got the face right this time. I can honestly say the same for 6 too. It does a nice job showing off the new power adapter you use in the game, and Beat as well. Then after that, Mega Man 7 comes out, and the Japanese box art is now vertical. It shows off the newcomer base. However, the American box art doesn't do this, instead taking place in the destroyed city found at the opening of the game, along with the opening boss and Dr. Wily in the background. Yet for some reason, Treble is still there. One more thing to notice, I don't know why they gave Mega Man a 6-pack. It looks fucking weird. I don't like it. After Mega Man 7, though, Capcom kept the box art the same for all regions for the rest of the Mega Man games. And the same applies to modern-day box art. Most companies just keep their art the same throughout all regions. Some companies add some minor tweaks, but overall it keeps the same spirit and doesn't completely overhaul it. And while I can say this is better than the past, it was fun to look back at this era, and it definitely had a charm to it that I won't lie I miss. There were a lot more games that I wanted to talk about here, but due to time constraints I really couldn't. Maybe if this video does well, I might make a follow-up to it. But thank you guys for watching. This is Scrambled Cristiano, coming out. Hey, so thank you for making it to the end of the video. Like I said, don't expect these to be consistent, but yeah. No artwork here because to cut a long story short, the art program I use, Sketchpad, she got erased, so now I need to start drawing new assets again. So for most thumbnails, expect there to be next to no artwork, or if there is, expect it to be a different style, since I'll be drawing on my phone from now on. Since you stayed long, let me just tell you what the review is going to be about for next video.